First of all, today's workshop is prototype and process and design development of a new product in the market. Under this workshop, we will come to know how a product is launched in the market, what are the steps before launching the product, decisions the company need to make to introduce that idea to the ultimate users of that product. Giving you the basic understanding of prototyping, it means creating a basic structure of that product before the actual launch of that product in the market. It means the rough structure of a product to the customers so that to attain the customer reviews about that product, to attain the customer feedback about that product, so that we can make the ultimate changes to the product before making the whole investment to the actual production of that product. For example, if I am into a clothing industry, I am already in the men section of the product clothing, right? I want to enter to the women. Okay? For the beginning, I will make the investment for particular units of a product, just like 50 to 100 units. I will launch that products in the market, in the target market of my product. To launch that product, I will attain the customer feedback of the market, then launch that product in the market and attain the customer reviews about the usage of that product, so that I can make the ultimate changes if required. I can make the ultimate changes in the idea of the design, in the idea of the product, in the uses of the product, so that my ultimate investment of the big production doesn't get offside, doesn't get unused and unattained in the market. Right? I will create a rough prototype of that product, launch that product to the customers. Customers will use that product in a rough basis, give their reviews about the uses, give their suggestions about the product, that these changes can be made in your design, these changes can be made in your product. Then I will have that customer reviews, make that changes in the product, and then finally launch that product with a big investment to the ultimate target market. That is called creating a prototype, creating a demo of the product, creating a rough structure of the product before the final investment can be made on the total production of that product. I hope you got to understand the prototype. So let's proceed. With the introduction, we will understand what prototype is, what the methodologies we can follow to create a prototype, what are the uses of prototype in the industry, and why it is necessary to create a prototype in the market. Firstly, we need to know what product development stages are. First is idea generation. We got to know some idea why we want to create the product, what ideology we have in our mind to create the product, and what is the necessity of creating that product in the market. That is a psychological process. That is in the mind, the idea of the product in the mind of management of the company. We get the idea generation. Second step is creating that idea to the practical impact of the product. It means transferring that ideology to the practical impact, to creating that product in the practical sense. That is called concept development. Creating the overview of the product, creating the practicality of the product. And third is product development, where the rough structure of the product is developed. That is called creating the prototype. It is in the third stage of the product development stage, where the product prototype is created, the rough structure of the product is created, and it is distributed in the target market to know the customer reviews, to get to know the actual overview of the product from the customers, so that in the third stage we can make the changes, we can improve our product before we make the final investment to the market, right? So the third stage is testing the product, testing the users, testing our suggestions, testing the improvements of the product. So the final stage is commercialization. At the last stage, we make the total investment to the production of the units. Here, the total products are produced and launched in the final target market. After all the suggestions, after all the possible changes, after all the possible improvements we can make according to the customer reviews, we make the changes, we simplify the changes, and then commercialize the product in the market. At this stage, it comes to the end users for the final using the product. Let's forward to types of prototyping. The first is low fidelity prototyping. In this, we create only rough structure of the product. For example, if I'm launching any mobile in the market, right? I'm just creating a structure of my mobile phone that it is in this particular screen. It is a folding mobile phone, yeah, particular this screen mobile phone. I'm not launching any software. I'm not launching any system in that phone. I'm just giving you the structure of the phone. That is called the low fidelity prototyping. It means only getting the structure. You're not getting to know the uses of the product. You're not getting to know the software of the product. No details, no user details, nothing. Just a structure of the rough scenario. In the second, medium fidelity prototyping, it means we got to know the sum of the users, some of the information, and the rough structure of the product. That is called medium fidelity prototyping. In the third, high fidelity prototyping, we create the structure, we create the users, we create a rough final demo of the product with the users, with the final users, and with the interactive sessions. For example, if I am introducing a mobile, I will introduce the applications, I will introduce the camera facility, I will introduce the mobile mic facility. I mean, all the overview, all the new changes, all the new software, I will inbuild that in the mobile phone, then launch to the market. That is called high fidelity prototyping. Means keep creating the second copy of the mobile. Let's proceed to how to create a prototype. It means steps to create a prototype. First one is requirement analysis, to analyze the need, to analyze the requirement of the prototype. Why we are creating, why we are launching that product in the market, to know the reason behind that. Firstly, we need to learn that. Second is quickly designing the prototype. Once we know the motive, why we are creating, then we proceed to how to create and want to create the prototype. Then we create the overall structure, the rough structure of the product, whether it's a technology product or the using product. We need to understand whether we are into the IT industry or the user product industry. We need to understand our industry, and according to the industry of the product, we will create the rough structure of that product and launch to the further improvements of the product. So third is creating a prototype. At this stage, our prototype is created, our structure of the product is creating. If we are into a user industry, like in the clothing industry, our rough structure of the clothing is created. After that, we will proceed to testing the prototype. Testing means whether our product is meeting the user requirements or not, for which we are creating the product is consumers, right? The ultimate consumers. So we need to decide whether our product is meeting the consumer requirements or not, usage or not. We need to decide whether there are some changes we can make, whether there are some improvements we can make, or our product is up to the mark. We need to decide at this stage. After that, we proceed to prototype refinement. In refinement, we make the changes. If required, we make the improvements, we make the changes, and after that we will proceed to protecting the design. Protecting the design means having the patent of your design, so that it is not any copied, it is not followed by any other company before your launch. You need to confirm your design is protected from any copy, from any you can say copy paste, so that before your launch in the market, other companies do not follow or copy your design. So you need to have a trademark of your design, a trademark of your product, so that you can proceed to the launch of the product with the final investment, right? So the next step is launching your test. It means after confirming the uses of the product, after trademarking your product, you launch the product in the final market with a full investment, so that all the possible changes are made, all the improvements are made, all the customer reviews are being entertained, and after that we launch the product in the market with a full units, with a full investment. Next is sharing the results. It means whether your product is getting profits or not, or whether your ultimate users are liking your product or not, whether your ultimate sales are up to the mark or not. It means sharing the results and getting the sales or not. So the last step is implementation of product and wrap up. Process design and development means creating a particular process for designing a product. It means creating particular steps before designing a product. For getting a product into the market, it involves many stages. So it would be helpful for the company if it is in particular steps, if it is refined in a design, if it is refined in a particular steps, if it is sequenced in a particular step, so that it is simplified for the company point of view also and from the customer point of view also to understand the product, to use that product and to attain that product finally, right? So it means creating the design and refinement of the product. Let's proceed to keep customer को समझ आ रहा है डिजाइन नहीं. That is the only motive of the company. Whether your design, whether your UI or UX, it means customer experience, what you are feeling is good, what you are feeling the technology is good, whether that technology is attainable from the customer point of view, whether the customer is able to use your technology with comfortable or not, whether the customer is comfortable with the technology, with their applications or with the website or not. You need to understand what you are thinking about the product, whether that thinking is transmitted to the customers or not, whether the customer is understanding, getting your design or not. That is the motive of key design principles. Next is prototyping methodologies. It means how we create prototype. First type is rapid prototyping. It means we create particular design of the product, we create basic design of the product with less uses. It means I'm not creating the overall product, I'm not creating the overall mobile, but a proper structure of the mobile with some of the applications only. To get the overview of the product, to get the overview of the idea, to get the customer feedback over my idea. I'm not giving the full idea of the product, I'm not giving the full applications to the mobile, I'm just giving the basic applications, the basic software along with the basic features of the product, right? That is called rapid prototyping. Second one is iterative design. Iterative design means the full copy of the product with full usage, full features and full design and area. It means I'm giving all the uses, I'm giving all the applications, I'm giving all the design and material to the final product as a prototype product. I'm just creating a copy of my final product to a prototype product, right? That is called iterative design. Process optimization. Process optimization means creating an optimized process, creating a systematic process so that the repetitive processes of the product are not used for a time wastage of the company. It means the things that are in repetitive nature, like we are getting a raw material, that is after an hour we need to refill that material. So we optimize that process with the machine so that after an hour जब वो refill होगा वो बार-बार optimize हो जाएगा, अपने आप refill होता रहेगा. There is no need to attain the manpower after an hour कि दोबारा fill करता रहे वो. हर घंटे बाद वो खुद ही optimize होके refill होता रहेगा. You need not to inbuild any human resource कि कोई बंदा आए एक घंटे बाद दोबारा refill करने आए. वो ऑप्टिमाइजेशन में मशीनरी ऐसी आ जाएगी कि वो एक घंटे बाद दोबारा रिफिल होती रहेगी. दैट इज कॉल्ड द प्रोसेस ऑप्टिमाइजेशन कि आप मैन पावर को कम करके अपनी टेक्नोलॉजी को ऐसे यूज करते हो कि आपका जो मैन पावर का काम है वो आपकी टेक्नोलॉजी ही कर रही है. अगर आफ्टर 2 or 3 hours यू नीड टू रिफिल द प्रोडक्ट्स, वो ऑप्टिमाइजली अपना रिफिल होते रहेंगे विद द यूज ऑफ मशीनरी. यू नीड नॉट टू वेस्ट द मैन पावर ओवर दैट. यू कैन यूज दैट मैन पावर ओवर सम यूजफुल एरियाज, राइट? Next one is the last thing, challenges in prototyping. The first is diving into the first good idea. It is the basic challenge for the companies to get into the idea of prototyping. You get the idea of launching the product, that is a psychological thing. But once that psychological thing is transmitted to the final decision, before final launching the product, it is hard to make the structure of the product for the launching in the market. It is very difficult to create a rough structure of a product to launch the product in the market. Firstly, before launching final product, it is very difficult for them to make that investment in the prototyping. It takes a lot of efforts, it takes a lot of human resource, it takes a lot of technological resources for creating that prototype. So some of the companies hesitate to invest in that, they hesitate to attain that prototype. They just prefer to finally launch the product in the market, whether it's successful or not. They prefer that it is a waste of time, that we create a demo, then launch, and after that we will decide final launch or not. They think it is a wastage of time. They think final launching the product will be the good decision. Second one is a wastage of time and explaining. They think creating a prototype will keep that time pace. Their time will be waste, their energy will be waste, and their technology will be waste. Third one is prototyping without a purpose. You are creating a rough structure of a product without any purpose, doesn't make any sense. If you want to launch that product in the market, only then you are required to create any prototype of your product. Otherwise, there is no requirement of creating any prototype. Obviously, creating a product must be with a good motive. There should not be any without motive you are not creating something in the market, right? So if you are having any motive for launching the product, only then you should create any prototype of a product. Otherwise, there is no need. Next one is failure red block. Failure red block means you are creating a prototype. You created a demo product. You will launch that demo product to the target market, but the target market is not liking your demo. कर दिया आपने एक फोन का अपना डेमो क्रिएट करके मार्केट में दे दिया, बट व्हाट इफ द फीडबैक इज नेगेटिव? यू विल बी डिमोटिवेटेड. आप अपनी इन्वेस्टमेंट लगाने के लिए भी तैयार थी, अपनी टेक्नोलॉजी भी तैयार की हुई थी, बट स्टिल जब आपका स्टार्टिंग में ही आपको कस्टमर फीडबैक नेगेटिव मिल जाएगा तो आप डिमोटिवेट होगे. तो फाइनल जब लॉन्च करना अपना प्रोडक्ट तो आप थोड़ी नेगेटिविटी के साथ करोगे कि जब मैंने थोड़ा कम स्लॉट ही इशू किया था उसका ही रिस्पॉन्स अच्छा नहीं आया, जब मैं इतनी बड़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहा हूँ वट इफ अगर ये सक्सेसफुल ना हुई, तो एक नेगेटिव थॉट आ जाता है अगर आपका प्रोटोटाइप सक्सेसफुल नहीं होता. अगर सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है इट्स वेल एंड गुड, अगर नहीं होता है देन इट डिमोटिवेट्स यू फॉर प्रोसीडिंग फर्दर इन द बिजनेस, राइट? Last one is see prototype as a waste of time, as we already discussed. Process improvement strategies. It means creating a prototype is an overall process. It means getting the improvements, getting the feedback of the customers for the improvements in the product. Using that strategies to improve the product, to make the changes, and using them strategies to optimize the processes of the product so that we can make the ultimate changes, and after that there is no scope left for the changes and improvements in the product. आप उस स्टेज पे अपना प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में लेके आ रहे हो जहाँ पे कोई स्कोप नहीं है और इम्प्रूवमेंट्स का. कोई भी कस्टमर आपके प्रोडक्ट को चैलेंज नहीं कर सकता कि इसमें ये इंप्रूवमेंट हो सकती थी. जब आपने प्रोटोटाइप क्रिएट कर लिया उसमें ऑलरेडी आपने इतनी इंप्रूवमेंट्स कर देनी है कि जब आप फाइनल लॉन्च करोगे, व्हेन फाइनल इन्वेस्टमेंट इज मेड, देयर इज नो स्कोप लेफ्ट फॉर द मोर इंप्रूवमेंट्स, कि और कोई इंप्रूवमेंट की कोई स्कोप ही ना रहे. जब फाइनल अपनी मार्केट में प्रोडक्ट लेके आ रहे हो तो आगे कोई इंप्रूवमेंट का स्कोप नहीं रहना चाहिए अगर आप प्रोटोटाइप क्रिएट कर रहे हो. अगर तो आप ये स्टेप स्किप ही कर रहे हो, अगर आप प्रोटोटाइप क्रिएट ही नहीं कर रहे हो तो देयर इज अनदर क्वेश्चन. बट अगर आप क्रिएट भी कर रहे हो, आप इन्वेस्टमेंट भी कर रहे हो, आप प्रोटोटाइप क्रिएट करके कस्टमर फीडबैक ले भी रहे हो, बट स्टिल आप इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं कर रहे हो, दैट इज द वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम. आपको प्रॉपर इंप्रूवमेंट्स करनी है, आपको अपना प्रोडक्ट उस लेवल पे लेके जाना है, फिर आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है कि उस लेवल पे लेके जाना कि आगे कोई इंप्रूवमेंट की गुंजाइश ना रहे, कि कोई भी कस्टमर ये नहीं कह सकता कि इसमें ये और चेंजेस हो सकते थे. जितने पॉसिबल चेंजेस है, पॉसिबल चेंजेस से भी ज्यादा आपने अचीव करना है अपने प्रोटोटाइप में, ठीक है? इनोवेशन इन प्रोटोटाइपिंग, इट मींस द सेम, लाइक ऐसी इनोवेशन आपने अपने प्रोटोटाइप में ही चेंज कर देनी है कि जब आप फाइनल प्रोडक्ट भी लेके आओगे तो उसमें कोई चेंजेस करने का स्कोप ना रहे. जितने भी पॉसिबल इनोवेशंस, जितने पॉसिबल टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट, जितनी लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी आपने यूज करनी है वो अपने प्रोटोटाइप में यूज करनी है, सो दैट जब आपकी फाइनल इन्वेस्टमेंट इन करोड़ या मिलियंस आपकी इन्वेस्टमेंट होगी, जब आप थाउजेंड्स मिलियंस ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स लॉन्च करोगे पूरी बड़ी मार्केट में, तो तब इतना स्कोप नहीं रहना चाहिए कि आपकी कुछ चेंजेस या टेक्नोलॉजी रह जाए. द ऑल पॉसिबल चेंजेस शुड बी अप्लाइड टू द प्रोटोटाइप ओनली. Process automation. Process automation means automating the process, making that technical changes to the process so that the manpower is not required to process the product. It simply means using the technology in place of human, so that your technology can make that changes, your technology can do that work which humans are already using. In present scenario, the thing we are using is AI. The main AI is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is doing the work of human nowadays. It's generating the articles, It's generating the answers, it's generating the questions for the teachers, it's generating the content for the teachers and for the students as well. So it's replacing the human. Same like this, in this process, you need the technology, you use the technology in the place of person to automate your process, to advance your process, so that you can use your human in other place where it is necessary, and you can use the technology in place of the human, right? Best practices in prototyping. The best practices would be cross-functional collaboration, user feedback, or user design experience, UI or UX. It's the best career option also, if you may know. UI UX means getting the customer feedback and customer reviews about the product before launching that product in the market. You are not making any big investment over the product. You are just launching a slot of the product in the market. You are getting the customer feedback about that slot of the demo of the product, whether the customers are liking your demo or not. If the reviews are positive, you launch the final slot, you launch the final product to the market. If the reviews are not positive, they need to make changes, their scope for making improvements. You make the improvements, you make your product better, then you make the final investment, and then you finally launch the product in the market, right? Process standardization. Process standardization means making any standards for your process, making the standards fixed for your processes. Like if this particular thing is done in this way, that is the standard of the company. Making the quality for your product, making the quality standards for your product. If I am using this particular quality of a material, I will use that material every time I am producing that product. I will not change my raw material because of any cost or profit structure. I will use that raw material whether I am making any profit or not. I will use that standard of production whether I am making a profit or not. I will use that standard raw material every time I am producing that product in the market. That means process standardization. Let's conclude this workshop. So here we got to know what prototype is, how we create prototype, what is the need of creating prototype, and why it is important in the market, why the design and structure is important in the market, why design development is important, and what is design and development. And at the end we come to know whether the product prototype is making any changes or not, whether it is preferable to create a product prototype or not. If I got to know your reviews, whether it's useful or not, प्रोटोटाइप क्रिएट करना चाहिए या डायरेक्टली प्रोडक्ट ही लॉन्च कर देना चाहिए मार्केट में. अगर मैं टेक्नोलॉजिकल प्रोडक्ट को ही ले रही हूँ, इफ आई एम प्रोड्यूसिंग एनी लैपटॉप, whether should I make full investment at one place कि मैं पूरा स्लॉट ही एक बार में लॉन्च कर दूं, or I should create a prototype of that product, then launch to the market, and after that make the final investment. What would be preferable? Creating a prototype or not creating? Creating, right? It will save my investment, it will save my time, it will save my money. अगर मेरा प्रोडक्ट फाइनली अगर पसंद ही नहीं आया कस्टमर्स को, तो मेरी छोटी इन्वेस्टमेंट पे मुझे लॉस होगा, मेरी बड़ी मिलियंस की इन्वेस्टमेंट में मुझे लॉस नहीं होगा. लॉस तो होगा बट पर्टिकुलर स्लॉट में लॉस होगा. पूरा मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट बच जाएगी, मेरा टाइम बच जाएगा. कहाँ मैंने सिर्फ 100 यूनिट्स पे टाइम लगाया, कहाँ मैं 1000 यूनिट्स प्रोड्यूस करके मार्केट में लेने वाली थी, राइट? एंड मुझे एक चांस मिल जाएगा इंप्रूवमेंट्स करने का. मैं इंप्रूवमेंट्स करके फाइनल इन्वेस्टमेंट कर सकती हूँ, फाइनल लॉन्च अपना जो प्रोडक्ट है वो इंप्रूव कर सकती हूँ, right? So it is very useful for the big companies, especially for the tech companies, especially for the technological products, tech products. It is very useful to create a prototype, to create a demo of the product, launch in the market, and then making the final investment in the market. Any queries you can ask, or should I ask you the close questions? No clapping. Yes, AI is definitely replacing human in many jobs already. It is doing the work of the human in already businesses and companies, especially in the corporate sector. It's replacing many jobs. You may have heard the news also. It's replacing many jobs in the market. कुछ ऐसी jobs थी जो पहले persons कर रहे थे, that are totally replaced by AI. वो पर्सन्स की जॉब बिल्कुल फ्लैश आउट होगी. ऐसा नहीं कि वो रिप्लेस करके किसी और लेवल पे चल गए हैं. रिप्लेसमेंट इसलिए पॉसिबल है, उनको और कोई टेक्नोलॉजी आती नहीं. उनको एक स्किल आती थी, डाटा क्रिएशन की स्किल आती थी, डाटा क्रिएशन एआई कर रहा है. उनको और कोई स्किल थी नहीं, उसकी जॉब चली गई. उनको डाटा फॉर्मुलेशन की स्किल आती थी, दैट इज ऑल्सो डन बाय एआई, तो उनकी जॉब चली गई. अगर उनको डाटा एक्सेल आता था, एडवांस एक्सेल आता था, दैट ऑल्सो डन बाय एआई, तो उनकी भी स्किल चल गई. सो इन टुडेज वर्ल्ड इफ यू वांट टू सक्सीड इन द कॉर्पोरेट, एक स्किल पे आप डिपेंड नहीं रह सकते. यू नीड टू हैव मल्टीपल स्किल्स इन योर स्पेशलाइजेशन. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू आर फ्रॉम अ फाइनेंस इंडस्ट्री, तो सिर्फ एक फाइनेंशियल आप अकाउंटिंग सीख के कॉर्पोरेट में सर्वाइव नहीं कर सकती. आपको फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रक्चर भी आना चाहिए, आपको उसको टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ लिंक कैसे करना है वो आना चाहिए, आपको टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज कैसे करना है वो आना चाहिए. आज के टाइम पे जो सर्वाइवल है कॉर्पोरेट में या कंपनीज में, सिर्फ उन्हीं बच्चों का है जो लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी को क्विकली अडेप्ट कर रहे हैं, जो जल्दी से जल्दी लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी, लेटेस्ट सॉफ्टवेयर को अडेप्ट भी कर रहे हैं, उनके चेंजेस को लर्न भी कर रहे हैं और उसको चलाना भी सीख रहे हैं. जो अपनी पुरानी थ्योरेटिकल नॉलेज में है, जो पुरानी बुकिश नॉलेज में बैठे हैं बच्चे, वो इतना सर्वाइव नहीं कर पाते. Because of the AI, there are many multiple changes in the market. There are multiple job creations and there are multiple job elimination also. AI ने jobs खाई भी है, मतलब लोगों की जॉब गई भी है और क्रिएट भी की है. जिन लोगों को AI में मास्टरी है, उनके लिए जॉब्स बहुत ज्यादा क्रिएट हुई. जिनको AI के टूल्स बहुत अच्छे आते हैं, जिनको AI से पीपीटी बनानी आ रही है, जिनको AI से एक्सेल सीखना आ रहा है, एक्सेल शीट्स जनरेट करनी आ रही है, डाटा को एनालाइज कैसे करना है वो आता है AI से. जस्ट ऑन द क्लिक ऑफ AI यू कैन एनालाइज द मिलियंस ऑफ डाटा. यू नो, ये टेक्नोलॉजी अगर आपको चलानी आती है तो आपके लिए जॉब्स की लाइन है. अगर आपको ये टेक्नोलॉजी चलानी नहीं आती तो ऑब्वियसली AI विल रिप्लेस यू. तो इसने रिप्लेस भी की है और इसने क्रिएट भी की है जॉब्स. So it's up to you which skill you have and what level of mastery you have in that particular skill. Any more questions? So we should end this workshop. Thanks for being so patient and so kind listeners to me. Hope you liked the workshop today. Yeah, it's all.